Hi everyone, welcome to my new little tailoring blog. Now we're just going to put the last bit inside the sleeve and it will be finished. So we're going to put what we call a sleeve roll. Can you see this? It's made out of wool and canvas and it's cut on the bias, and this actually goes around the seam, inside the seam of the sleeve. Can you see the sleeve now? It's kind of limp and there's nothing to it. But once the sleeve roll is in there, it'll make it roll. You get this beautiful roll finish, and I'll show you that when back on the dummy when I've actually put this in here now. So this is what we call a sleeve roll. Now some tailors will make, this is a bought sleeve roll, so it's already prepared, but you can make it yourself out of canvas and wadding or whatever some tailors will use. They'll use different materials, but mainly it's made out of wadding and out of canvas as well. Some tailors say the bought one is a bit too thick, so you can opt to make your own, which is very simple to do. And maybe in one of my outings I will actually show you how to do one. Now this sleeve roll has got to go in. Basically I'm just going to bring this back round to the front here so you'll just get an idea of what I'm trying to achieve. So we're going to get a nice roll on this sleeve, and it will go just where the sleeve is here, the sleeve seam now underneath. It will just come up on the front about 3/4 of an inch, and then it goes right down, goes all the way around the sleeve, the actual armhole, and then it'll go past that hind arm, and it will end up where that seam is there on the side body there, what we call a side body. It will just come just about an inch up from there. So you'll get a nice roll, a nice shape all the way around, because it's pretty collapsed at the moment, so it will kind of perk it up and you'll see what happens. So if I just bring this back in for you, I don't want to waste too much of your time, people. I know some of you are fascinated to actually see what goes on inside a pure bespoke jacket, but I'm going to just get this 1 second. Okay, here we are. So I'm just going to start the sleeve roll off. Now the canvas faces to me, and the soft wool melton actually faces the actual cloth inside. So what you do, I use this stitch here. Some they'll put the top of this sleeve roll just fraction it above the seam, but I kind of put it much level with the seam. Various tailoring companies, what they call tailoring houses, they'll have different sleeve head finishes. You'll see some are real pronounced, and I don't like these real pronounced sleeve rolls. You'll see it on the outside. I'll explain to you when I'll put this jacket back on the dummy. I'll explain more. So I just do like a back stitch, and see there's a seam where I'd actually stitched it, and that's got to go just by that seam, can't go past it, and you just got to pick it up a little bit. You just do like a back stitch and then bring it, and then just go forward, and this is the stitch you do. So you do a back stitch, bring it behind, lift it up where you are. That's got to go near the seam, because you need to support that seam with this sleeve roll, and that's what gives it the beautiful roll, the finished look. So some tailors will actually they'll go that way, but I think that's wrong, because they say you need a bit of ease in the sleeve roll. But you don't need ease, because this is already a circle and we're actually stitching this inside. So once that's in, it will be there anyway. You'll get nice. If you start putting ease in, it's all gonna get lumpy. You're gonna get all this excess. But you know, each to their own. So I'm just gonna pick it up and just go just by where that seam is. The seam is there, so I'm just going just inside that seam, and I'm using the stitching line of the actual sleeve roll itself. So and don't be tight. You don't want to be pulling anything, because when you pull things you create fullness and ease in fabric. So I was taught that by a great tailor. I always used to have a bad habit of pulling things, and I used to things that were like had ease sewn into it, and this is one of the reasons, so you've got to just make sure it's not tight at all. So I'm just going around the sleeve now. So pick it up, bring it back just within that seam. So basically I'm just doing the back stitch, and everyone knows what a back stitch is. So I'm just going along that stitch line, just within that seam again. And this will be, I'm not going to bore you, so this is going to be stitched all the way around, and I'll get back to you when I put it back on the dummy.